I already hit go live. Yeah, I can better.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to News from the Pew, where the internet happens and we talk about it. Yes, and we are happy to be here on probably the last show of 2025, because Christmas will be next week, and I'm pretty sure Steve won't be doing a show on Christmas. I mean, every other holiday he will, but
I'll take holy days off. It just puts me behind the 8 ball on a lot of things. But
he's gonna have to work 26 hours on the Tuesday before just to make up
before and after.
Yeah. And then our first show will probably be New Year's night, the first, which will be maybe not, depending on if the church schedule shakes out, because that'll be was it not the Annunciation, is it? No. It's
depending on the calendar.
It's something for marriage.
Mary, Mother of God, and the new rite, circumcision, and the old rite.
It's a holy day of obligation. So we probably won't have a show that night either. So as we get together for this last cozy show of 2025, and
is that an RFK hat?
Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing.
Oh, okay.
Not
a Kennedy hat.
Not an RFK Jr. hat. It is Roush Fenway Racing Keselowski, because I have told people that I am big into NASCAR, and this is another example of that. Yes. Unfortunately, this show, well, every show is kind of a doomer show, but we always kind of lace it with positive vibes. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this show that is not great, and we're just going to try and break it down for you as plainly as possible, and hopefully leave you guys at least as informed as you can be. So, not a shock to anybody. Dan Bongino is leaving the FBI, old tight shirt Dan, and everybody's freaking out. We're just kind of going through the table of contents right now. Everybody's, oh, I can't believe Dan Bongino's leaving. Folks, Dan Bongino is not going to be there long term. Okay. The guy made his living off of being a podcast host. And you know what? He wanted to go back to being a podcast, just as Trump said. Just wants to go back. Just wants to go back to his little show day. And you know what? I don't blame him. There's probably nothing, maybe he's been listening to this show, Steve. Not much you can do in DC. DC is broken. DC is a fat, distended waste of American or union resources and taxpayer money. And so if I was there, I actually commend Dan Bongino a little bit for stopping, although I don't know how long you have to work to get a pension at that point. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I give Bongino credit for not taking a government paycheck anymore and going back to his roots, if you will, and making doing money on Rumble. And Tim Pool covered it. He's like, oh, his first show back is going to be so huge. He's going to be like, guys, I saw things. And that's going to be the full 45 minutes. He's just going to say that in 17 different ways. You're not going to learn a thing. He's not going to drop any secrets. He's going to be like, we need to get this country together because I saw things. And that's it.
Send me money.
Send me money. Now that I'm back, go to the Dan Bongino store and buy my tight shirts. Like, that's all it's going to be.
I got a book coming out next week.
So good for Bongino. He left. He gave you the old college try, even though we don't think really
eliminates a huge hole at FBI.
Well, yeah, the deputy director of that. So it is what it is, and it's kind of funny to see MAGA world react to this and some kind of doom and gloom scenario. Like, oh my gosh, Dan Bongino couldn't get it done. It's like, what is Dan Bongino's credentials? He was a Secret Service agent for a while. That was it. He wasn't, no offense to Dan. I mean, Dan Bongino does not care what somebody like me says, because as Mark is pointing out in our chat room correctly, he's a millionaire and I am not. So he is a successful podcaster. He owns part of Rumble. You know, he has all these other things together. But the thing is, nobody's going to take the right lesson from this, Steve. Nobody's going to take the fact that DC is not fixable. And DC is not a fixable place. And electing somebody like Trump or JD Vance or whoever else you want to pencil in there in 2028 is going to do nothing. And instead of seeing the supposed failure of Bongino and Cash and Bondi and all these, they'll say, well, we just got to elect somebody else who's more conservative and more MAGA and all these other kinds of things. I don't know, Steve. What is, your thoughts on old Danny Boy giving up and going home?
I thought you brought up JD Vance. I was going to play his Hanukkah party.
Oh, well, I mean, of course.
The great, because all great Catholics put on a Hanukkah party because
Does he have those Jewish guys like that one meme where they're all there's one singing? I wonder if you brought that guy back, that Hasidic Jew. That would be great if they brought that guy back, because that one just gets played from time to time, and JD's reaction to it is still priceless to this day. But he just, yes, that one where the guy he's like, yeah, this is great, and then the guy starts singing in the background, and JD's like, is this really worth it?
I mean, he made little, what do you call them?
The yarmulke.
He made some vice president ones. So
He made an Appalachia yarmulke.
We're winning, guys. Pound winning. There you go.
Yeah, we are. This is what winning looks like, baby.
When the boss tells you to celebrate Hanukkah, you celebrate Hanukkah. You can.
It's interesting too, because there was a Supreme Court case, I think in the 80s, where the justices decreed that you cannot have a nativity scene on the White House lawn, but they totally okayed the menorah.
Dude, they're throwing up menorahs left and right. If you bought stock in menorah for this week, you're a rich man. It's menorahs.
Well,
you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a flock camera and a menorah.
A flock camera. Yeah. Well, it's just very interesting how that went down. But this
But yeah, Danny Boy. Oh, Danny Boy.
Yeah.
He quit. He cashed it in. I can't wait to not listen to his first show. I didn't watch it beforehand, won't listen after, but I guess I'll see some clips around. The people that do watch it will take him apart and see that he's absolutely pretty much either just cashing in on his PR from there, because that's what he's going to do, like everyone else will do. Everyone would afterwards. Very rare you have somebody to leave it like a John, like a JQ Adams to go in and then leave and never come back. But we'll go into depth over it. But these guys are going to do anything they can to come some money. Now, if he's going to, what is he going to do? Come up and say, "Oh no, there's an Epstein report." Okay, then you lied. He's not going to say anything that's going to cause him any scandal.
No.
So he may puddle the whole thing that he said before just to keep his name right, so that Trump may retweet him, or wherever the cheerleaders will retweet him. Because maybe he gets a $7,000. Maybe he's sold out to the Eighth Front War that Bibi's got going, and gets a $7,000 check every time he puts a post out now.
Yeah, well, no, he won't. He will definitely not say anything because his kind of show, kind of like Candace Owens, and I know Candace is a hot topic this week. We didn't really say that, but his show is always ending on like a cliffhanger, right? Mm-hmm. It's always, you got to tune in tomorrow and we'll talk about more about the deep state. Like there's a little bit about, it's a soap opera, right? It's a perfectly time. Most of these podcasters who work these day shifts, guys, Crowder's kind of like that. Crowder's a little more news oriented, but most of these guys, they're crafting stories, and whatever the news of the day is, they get that story and they weave it into their narrative of choice. Like Candace lately's been T-Pusa and Charlie. When Bongino gets back, it'll be about the deep state and what he saw at FBI. And, every time there's a story that comes out, Steve, he'll say, when I was director at the FBI, this is what we did. And then he'll say one little thing, and then he'll rant for 15 minutes about how the Democrats are terrible and we got to beat them in the midterms and so forth and so forth. And that's how it goes. And I don't even hate him for it, Steve. I don't even hate him for it, because it's a successful model. It works. Mm-hmm. It works. They get millions of views. They get money. They get paid. They get a very comfortable lifestyle.
Hate the game, not the player. Hate the game, not the player.
No, I don't. I won't. I don't hate on any of them. I mean, I wish I was as good as these guys are. I'm not.
No. You hate the strategy, but you don't hate the player for playing the strategy. Yes, I
No,
mean,
not at
it's
all.
clever.
Not at all, man. Yeah, he waited just long enough to get his 1,776 bonus, and then he can head home. By the way, RIP to all the gentlemen's clubs and Dodge dealerships around every military base in the next couple months, because that money's going quick. And that's not, folks, I know I didn't serve, but that is a joke that I used to hear when I work at the gun range. All I do is work around vets. That's the joke all the time. Oh, who got the charge with 40% interest? Like, that's always, that case. So,
Well,
yeah,
maybe Dan can cover the Patriot games. Seen this?
it's awesome. The Hunger Games. I didn't know this was, you called it the Patriot Games. I thought it was the Hunger Games because two kids from each city, from each state.
We need tribute.
we need fresh meat to go in there, and
you're going to play at the Capitol. You need two people from each district, a man and a female. Who wrote this?
And they're gonna. I mean, he's getting pretty lazy now. He's just ripping off. He watched the Hunger Games the other night. He was just like,
I got an idea.
Great idea. Why don't we have this ourselves? We can bring all these kids, and people love it. And they like that snow guy.
We're gonna have a cornucopia in the middle with all this Trump memorabilia. They have to run to go get it.
Well, they just renamed the Kennedy Center the Trump Kennedy Center. So the board unanimously agreed to rename it the Trump Kennedy Center. So I mean, you might as well do all of that.
The only thing they're missing is if trains bring them to the Capitol.
Oh, I hope he does.
They'll put him in the East Wing, and the new East Wing is going to be a dance hall. They'll have the vomitorium and all that stuff there ready for him to go.
Yep, absolutely, man. That's exactly what it is. It's going to be so good.
Somebody in the back when this is going on going, Your Excellency.
Stop.
Forgive me for speaking out loud.
It's the Jonah Hill meme. As soon as he puts his hand up, somebody's like, No.
This is a lot. This seems like we're doing the Hunger Games. No.
It's not the Hunger Games. Nobody will be hungry. McDonald's will sponsor it. We'll get McDonald's to sponsor it. Nobody will be hungry. They'll all be full. It'll be great. It'll be fine. It'll be awesome. But
okay, I'll change it up. We'll put this big dome and we'll call it rehabilitation, and then we'll have the vehicles come out and shoot people. Wait a minute, that's idiocracy. Darn it! I gotta come up with something else.
Yeah. We're not getting out of this one, are we? No, we're not. So
that'd be great. Palantir, sponsored by Palantir.
Oh yeah. Oh, it will be. It will be. Although I am hearing that the winner, the prize for the winning couple, for lack of a better term, the contributors, ICE doesn't go into their state for a year. So whoever wins the Patriot Games, ICE will stay out of your state. So that way you won't get any deportations. So you got to fight extra hard. So Minneapolis is going to, Minnesota's going to fight extra hard in the Patriot Games to make sure that the Somalis get to stay.
That's too good. You can't make this up. This is legit. And everyone is bouncing on it. I wonder how they are up there.
I'm actually kind of glad this is all taking place, because it takes away this air of authority that everybody genuflects to DC with. Everybody, it's the office of the president. Oh, the federal government. It's like, then they do stupid crap like this. And it's like, yes, this is how obnoxious and how ridiculous the entire federal government is every day. And yet you guys still worship at it, and you keep still voting for the same 2-1 party system to just do all this. So it's just absolutely fantastic.
McClanahan talks about that a lot, talking about how he loved Trump in the first term because he pretty much went in and tinkled all over everything that was going on in D.C. and made a mockery of, maybe he didn't mean to, but the way he just kind of flippantly did things. Not talking about the EOs and, him and his authoritarian stuff, and or even his forget Congress. We'll let him know we're going to bomb somebody, but we don't need Congress. The elected king stuff, not that stuff, just everything else that like this. It's a great job of mocking it. It's just, like you said, it takes away, because the other team goes, these sacred halls, talks about the religion. religious atmosphere and all that stuff. And people do act like this is a state religion, but
Oh yeah, it is. It's 100 because they don't have anything else. They've all abandoned actual religion, so this is the thing they have. Oh,
you
good.
said something about voting for the same thing. Well, it brings up to the 100th anniversary. What if we get the third term of DJT for the 2029 100th year anniversary of the consecration of Russia and Agenda 2030 in the same year?
I went on record when this came out all the way back in like February. Just do it. If we're gonna have an elected king, let's let it be Trump. If we're just gonna go straight into an empire at this point, right? We're gonna transition out of the faux republic into the empire like the Romans did. Let's just do it under Trump. Let's just do it under Trump and get it over with. Better him than Kamala, because at least Trump's
at least the end will come faster.
Yeah, right. I mean, come on. Let's stop beating around the bush, Steve. Let's stop trying to hold up a skyscraper with 2x4s. Let's just let the thing collapse.
It will be funny come Judgment Day. Not funny. It will be exciting as long as we're on the right side of the judgment, of course. To see, they say they talk about you'll see everything that happened and why and all this. I would love to see, as long as I'm on the right side of this thing, how all this is coming out and what's going on behind the curtain on this. What had this going on? Is Obama really a part of is all these guys involved in this somehow? Who's the real puppet master in charge like that? Going like, wow, was it even Bibi? I mean, who is this? I mean, and then for people just to keep going with it, it's truly mind-boggling because if Obama came out, say if George Soros came out and said, we're going to get Obama third term. I'm going to donate $250 million, get that third term, 4 more years. Jack and those guys would freaking blown their head, lost it. Their heads would have exploded. They needed new keyboards from the amount of tweets they would be doing because the faster
Bongino would rip his shirt on air. Blasphemy! And so it would just be.
How many of them are going to do that? How many of you even brought that up? It's amazing. If most people here watching this can see the hypocrisy on it, but it's just utterly amazing that these guys get away with it at the level they are. I mean, there's good Catholic guys that are friends with all these people that ain't got the stones to say anything about any of this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult to sit back and kind of watch this whole, and then they cosplay. And I'm not saying they're cosplaying, but you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth if you're supporting this kind of stuff, and then you're having, Christmas is back and doing the Christmas tree. And Trump said, we honor Christmas, and everybody was freaking out because he did that. Christ is coming and all these. Yeah. And maybe he does believe it a little bit, but you're not acting, you're not pursuing. And I get it. Government it's a dirty business, but still you could try to do it a little bit better than how it's being done right now. You could at least try.
Yeah, it's not even being hidden.
No.
I mean, Mark Levin out there saying he's the greatest Jewish president ever. Trump saying that Congress isn't caring enough for Israel. We're bombing people. And he's like, don't worry, we're going to bomb anybody. We'll hijack a boat, but then we'll call the Houthis terrorists for doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean,
it's just everything that's going on. Oh, by the way, we'll have George Soros's right-hand man. Oh, wait. Well, now we like George Soros. The set come out saying that every kid is going to get $1,000 for birth, and it'll end up being $200,000 when they're wrong. Look at the fine print. You just have to have a digital ID from cradle to grave to get on it. But we love it. Yay! Give me that digital ID, baby, because we're getting some money.
Well, the thing is, like the idea of trying to incentivize repopulation has never worked. It hasn't worked. It didn't work in the Soviet Union. It's not working in Russia. It's not working in China. People don't even understand the population crash that's going to happen to China in the next 10 years. Once you get to that point of no return, it is a point of no return. So you have to accept one of two things. Either you accept robotics to take up and make up for the lost labor angles, or you import your way out of it. It's really, those are the only two options.
Because Russia came out saying that they're going to do in your household debt or something for every kid up after 4 or something like this, and which hey, it's cool on Russia. They're a centralist nation that's ran by Moscow. DC doesn't have that. I know I saw a couple people go, I wish America would do that. I go, well, that's called they don't have that power. Your state can do that. If you live in Mississippi, you can do that tomorrow. If you're a governor, if you're in Alabama or Wyoming or anybody like that, yeah, you can do that right now. But everyone wants to be ruled by the center, and even the guys that want solution wise, well, we just got to change the center. Okay, it's like the last kind of little mentioned about there were people complaining about Dearborn, Michigan being ran by Muslims. Again, the people who complain about it don't live in Dearborn.
Like, yeah, well,
you ain't converted your own hometown yet. I don't think the city you live in is a Catholic city yet, but you're complaining about Dearborn. Okay, take a page book out of Dearborn. Work to convert the area like Dearborn has. I don't know how they did it. I don't care how they did it. I know that people there, there's an argument that the feds ended up putting things in, like you go back to EMJ's book on destruction of cities, where they took people from the South, black people, and put them into areas where they knew was going to be, fights. And it happened like that. Yeah. Destruction of the cities, bust up the Polish areas and the German areas and make everyone live together, which you don't have to do that, which goes back into decentralization, federalism. When people go, why do you want that? Well, people used to segregate themselves in a way. Hence, you had the Polish church, you had the German church. You didn't even live together with those guys, and they were same color skin, mind you. It's not like this is a black-white thing. This is just a cultural thing. If the culture wants to be here, what the Irish are, you go in any big city, you have Little Italy, Little China. Anybody say, oh, they're a bunch of segregationists right there. The Chinese want to live next to each other. Yeah, they kind of do. The Italians want to live with it. Now, but you bring this up. Oh, now the Muslims come in. Well, the Muslims want to take one city and the entire continent. Are you going on a crusade now to kill them all, or is it why don't you just convert them then instead of forcing them by an edict?
That's not true, Steve. It's not just one. I mean, Minneapolis is completely.
I'm just bringing up Dearborn.
If you're going to mention Islam, you have that, and then you have DFW is rapidly descending into that. Houston has a huge Muslim population in it. So I understand your point you're making. People who are worried, the people in Texas who are worried about what's happening in Dearborn are not watching what's happening in Texas.
Yeah.
Right? People who are worried about Minneapolis don't live in Minneapolis, but it is something that.
Yeah, more cities. There's cities that are doing it. Like I live 20 minutes from Islamville. I know there's other cities, but I don't go around going, I'm going to go down and I got to get an executive order to get those people out. We should go down there and evangelize them like we did used to be. But we want government to make an edict on that. It's like even our own guys, instead of working to convert people, we need government to say no to them. Government is the solution.
Let's just be completely honest. That's because there's not enough Catholic men that actually want to do evangelization. They just want to live. They want to be, American Catholics instead of Catholic Americans.
It's comfy. It's comfy just to sit here.
Yeah, it is. It's
not comfy to approach other people or to go in the middle of a town thinking that they might hate you for it.
Yeah. No, I know. I absolutely understand that. And
before anybody says, Steve, why don't you do it? I did it for many years. I've actually I went head toe to toe with about 20 Muslims one time. It was fun. I loved it. I had a great time with it. Said some things that I thought they should have probably did something to me for, but I had fun time doing it.
Yeah, was that in Colorado?
That was Colorado. Yeah, there's the People's Fair 2 years in a row. Yeah.
Yep.
The atheists were more fun. They were because they were all former Catholics. So they hated us.
I mean, it's actually kind of ironic. As much as people think about Islam, there is at least some baseline respect for like the Holy Mother and our Lord and Savior. Even it's perverted. It's perverted in all these ways, but there's still at least an understanding of it, as where you're talking to an atheist or even a Protestant in some cases, where it's just pure vitriol and pure vitriol and hatred. I mean, if you're debating a Muslim, at least there's some kind of, you both at least believe in something. We believe in the one true faith. They believe in something. So at least they're open to the understanding of the supernatural realm and all that kind of stuff, where you're debating like the fat atheist with the fedora hat who's just like, hello everybody, I don't believe in your magic spaghetti man. And it's like, okay, buddy, whatever. Go back home and order Domino's and watch your hentai. So, like, just get away from me. You're beyond hope.
Yeah, I've had a couple of Muslims I've given miraculous medals to, especially at the fair. And then I had a lady named Fatima in the car one time in Uber. And we got to talking about it, and she asked what was on my hanging down, and we talked about Fatima, and she was like, "I can't believe that's amazing." And she took a miraculous medal. They're not supposed to take it because it's got a cross on it. She took one.
Yeah,
but now I've had the atheists just don't care. They just hate. It's mad. Oh. They got something happened to them back in the day. I did have one to write down because I brought up it was 10 versus 1. All right, explain to me the Tilma of Guadalupe. And none of them had a clue. They were all just mad about it. And one guy was open to listen. He actually took notes. He goes, "Where do I find that information at?" He was a younger guy. It was the old boomer guys that didn't want to listen.
No. The boomer, of course, the boomers are getting absolutely trashed in the last 2 months. I feel deservedly so. But there's a lot of things that are coming to the forefront with boomers because of housing, because of the economic situation, and the fact that Gen Z is just tired of it. They're tired of being blamed for not, there's no opportunities for them. There's no entry-level jobs for them. Because these boomers are holding on to all of these positions, all of this wealth. You and I have talked about the housing crisis, and one of the chief reasons is there's a concentration of wealth among a certain class, among the baby boomers. They have that concentration of wealth, and they're stuck in their ways. And it's crazy, Steve, whether you're talking about economics or religion or whatever, they have their worldview that has not adapted to 2025. Their worldview is still clear as day in like 1981. And they just don't understand that the world is evolving and moving on, and they just can't get behind it.
We mentioned that you brought up the housing thing and the boomers. Nick of Reventure App, he mentions that, saying that wait till the boomers start dying off, and there's nobody, the population growth, the population thing. He goes, no one's talked about that with the housing market. There's going to be a bubble already, and then that bubble hits.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be this vast availability of wealth that nobody's going to be able to access, except maybe Vanguard and Palantir and all these billion-dollar corporations that will scoop them up and then just turn them into rentals. So that's kind of just this thing. And they talk about, like, with the deportations, they're like, oh, when you deport people who are living in these houses, either renting these houses, or we've heard stories from people where migrants come in and they have these houses given to them. They may not own them, but they're given to them rent-free, all these other kinds of things, while Zoomers and millennials and even people like you, Steve, are like, yeah, I might be able to save up for a house for, like, my grandkids. I'm not going to ever own a house, but, maybe.
Kind of feeling that way, really. I mean, it's turning that way, but the market's going down. But, there's part of me that goes, just get to the point that I can get something for the kids.
Yeah, I was blessed by my circumstance is different. The reason I own a house is both my parents died, and just the insurance money from that. And I got into it back in 2008, right after the housing bubble. So I was just dumb luck to be able to that's how I was able to get into this house. But if I had to just rely on, like, my teaching salary, Steve, back in 2008, I wouldn't have been able to afford a house. I would not have been able to do so. So it's just, how do people get these opportunities when they're told in this American dream of, hey, you can own a house and you can have, your family and the white picket fence and all this other kind of stuff. And then they look at the price of $450,000 for a one bedroom, one bath house. Like, no, I make $15 an hour at Starbucks. How does this work? There is no way to make this work. You can, it's
I thought we had $15 trillion coming in from tariffs. I ain't seen a nickel of that, but yeah, we got, apparently everyone's rich except for the people that are with the people.
Yeah.
Gas has gone down here. It's down to $2.30 now. It used to be 2 weeks ago, it was $2.80. Now it's down to $2.30. It's like great googly.
It's going down, but it usually goes down in the winter anyway, right? It technically goes down in the winter because people aren't traveling as much. So That's another thing. That's another reason why people are like, oh, Trump's going into Venezuela for energy, right? You go in there and you lease out the oil fields to all the major gas companies. They exclusively come back up north. All right, well, now we have energy. We can power out through there and go through, and maybe that'll bring prices down a little bit more. But you're never going to get by. I just think people don't understand. Steve understands this. A lot of other people understand this. You're just not going to get past the inflation. You're never going to be able to catch up to the inflation of 2020. Yeah, please. Cash for clunkers, man.
I saw this the other day. I told my wife that there's a truck down the road at this one little mom and pop thing, $18,000.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously used, but like, wow.
Well, that's because cash for clunkers, man, destroyed the entire used car market.
Mm-hmm.
Cars that you could get for like $300, $400, they weren't great, but you know what? If you needed four wheels and an engine, it would get the job done. Gone.
And they can't be controlled. Those class for clunkers, they got rid of the uncontrollable cars. Now, only thing you can get now, controlled cars that they can turn off.
Yep. I mean, if you can, I think like what, maybe late 90s, early 2000s may not be able to, but anything past like 2005, anything that has OnStar or Sirius satellite radio, you're done. They have the ability to turn that off. And I love the fact that I find it funny, Steve, when people buy older cars, like cars from like 95, and they install like the satellite radio in. It's like, no, you're taking the poison pill. Don't do it. Just get the old radio that you can slap in there. And so like the Honda Fit I was able to get after I lost my truck a couple years ago in a hail. They were just completely messed up. I found one for $6,000. And it's a little Honda Fit. The only reason I think I got it that cheap, Steve, it had 120,000 miles on it. It's a Honda, which means it's brand new, because it was a 5-speed. The only reason it was so cheap, it was a 5-speed. Nobody knew how to drive it. So it's, if it was an automatic, they probably could have sold that car for maybe $2,000, $8,000, $10,000, just because it was a little car they could drive around. But the fact that it was a 5-speed, I was like, give it to me. No, he's like, the guy looked at me. He's like, it's been on the lot for a month. I can't even turn it on because the girl I have that turns on the car so they don't the battery, she doesn't know how to do it. So the battery was dead when I tried to run it because nobody had turned it on in a month. So, it's just one of those things that if try to find older cars if you can, and they are outrageous. And that's design. Well, the crazy thing, Steve, is that used cars are outrageous. All right, well, I'll go buy a new car. Oh, an XLT F-150 is a cool $65,000.
Mm-hmm.
That truck, an XLT, which was like a cloth truck, no amenities, nothing crazy, used to be maybe 30. That was the entry truck you could get if you didn't have a lot of money. You were like, oh, I'll get a single cab F-150 because it's cheap and I can drive around. Oh no, it's $60,000 now. And it's the same car. And actually, cars being made now are worse. The mechanics are worse. The reliability is worse with all this new technology and everything that we have now. Oh, G Money took his Ford Focus. I had one of those. I had a 2002 Ford Focus up in Rhode Island. I beat that car to death.
There's a little bit on that housing thing. So like Lennar.
Yep.
They're buying all these homes. They're building all these homes, and they can't sell them.
Nope.
So they lower the price on it. They lowball everybody, and now if some mom and pop are down the road trying to sell their home, they have to play ball with those guys because those guys are lowering it, and then it messes up that family trying to sell it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the problem is the people who have the houses already established, their homes were inflated during COVID, so they took out a refi on it, like with zero interest, to try and pay off. Now they're in even more underwater than they were before, so they're completely up the creek without a paddle with that. And so I already told you there's billboards around me for new developments. Save $40,000. I saw a new one, new developments. It used to be they started at the 350s. This one was advertising back at the 2s. It's like, oh, they started 200,000 again. Okay, yeah, we're in deep doo-doo. If they are dropping those things quicker. The crazy thing is they still keep building them. They still keep building them, and they
Oh, they're
still just
building. They're left and right over here. Like, who's moving to Gastonia, North Carolina?
yeah,
Ain't that
right.
many people moving to Gastonia, but they're throwing up homes. Like, I mean, homes are going faster than weeds, and I like weeds, but they're going up faster than that.
Yeah, it's crazy. The Lego the fact they're Lego houses and they can be built. They're designed to be built quickly, not well. They're designed to be built quickly. So it's just absolutely insane how all of that economically, Trump and his team are they're bullish on the economy because of the AI bubble, and they're really counting on these tariffs supposedly to start, having some kind of benefits in the beginning of next year. And I don't see where that comes from, but apparently when you read into it, they're very bullish on it. And that AI bubble is going to burst a lot sooner than people realize, because everybody's counting on AI to be this transcendent technology, when really it's going to be advanced LLMs, right? Advanced LLMs, and it's kind of I think it's going to be more of a disappointment than people realize.
Yeah, it's a very good TI-85 computers, but people act like they can be sentient.
That's the word I didn't say. A lot of people are counting on the sentient being, the sentient thing, but it's not going to be that, because computers can't have sentient. They'll never be sentient.
Yeah, it's ones and zeros, and you need a power source still, and
yeah, and you can throw up all the data centers you want.
James Cameron, James Cameron's trying to make a new movie, and he's upset about I think he's making a new Terminator, and I think he's worried that it will go that way, but everyone else is like, no, you can't. It can't physically happen that way.
No. I mean, they're great tools. Steve and I joke off air about how much stuff we can get done with them, and they're fantastic for cutting down a lot of wasted time. But there's an attach. I made a reference to somebody else I was talking to. It's kind of like remember the .com bubble? How even if you had you could get xyz.com and people thought you're going to be a millionaire, because everybody's going to have a .com address, and every single one was worth something. And then they were like, actually, no, they're not. They're really not worth anything. It's just a website, and websites are not this. They're great for certain things, but it's not this life-changing technology. Once again.
Yeah, no, people still do let me buy the Trump.com so I can sell it, or Trump and Pence or whatever. They try to figure out who the ticket is so they can get the URL ready so they can get it bought off.
Yep. Yeah. That's the only way you make money, is you buy the domain name from somebody, and then you try to sell it back to them. But now if you get it, even if you get the .com, they can be like, fine, .net or .co or whatever. It's not even that much of
a technocracy is real, though, and the other stuff is real. The AI that's going in the technocracy part, that's the problem. Not the AI itself; it's the people that are using it for nefarious things, from digital ID, which again we bring up many times. You can hit that dead horse all the time, but people want it for some reason. And there's actually in United Kingdom, there's been protests on people not protesting it, but getting people to accept or on board to not use it.
Well, no, it's going to be in everything, because the government loves that much control. The government loves, what digital ID represents. And, we've been moving towards a Chinese style government for a long time. That's been the model, what they have with their social credit score, and how they have a compliant, docile population that just kind of consumes and moves on. That's the goal here, is a docile, compliant, population that just consumes and moves on and doesn't question anything, and allows the elites to do whatever they want to do. And as long as, that's the end goal that they want to do, then that's what's going to take place in that regard.
Yeah, so. Remember we brought the menorahs at the beginning. I forgot to bring that.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can put one up. You can put one up on the lawn. Yeah. So, yeah. But that's pretty much that. We also had the we'll move on to, unless there's anything else you want to bring up within this subject.
Well, here's a little idea of what you were talking about with the CBDCs in China linked to their digital ID. There's a guy, his cyclist was caught on camera riding without a helmet. The authorities reportedly deducted 25 yuan directly from his digital wallet in real time. But I mean, you don't even get to say heck no or anything like that. You just do something. I would be broken a week. I'm already broken a week. I'd be really broken a week. Just, I mean, as long as you break, it's what's it, like the movie with Sly and the
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man, when you cussed and you got that, you got this thing come out.
Well, as long as you don't go to the 3 seashells, I think we'll be all right. He doesn't know how to use the shells. It's actually kind of prophetic how much Demolition Man kind of predicted a lot of these things to come.
Well, darn, if you get in movies, you look at Idiocracy, Demolition Man, Hunger Games, all that stuff is. So I think there's probably some in the double aughts that thought about this too.
Well, I mean, the idea is that Hollywood works closely with the government. You know, they work back and forth between the two. And people were probably dropped hints about the technology that the government already had back then. And they were good ideas for films. You know, the idea, I just came up with this on my own. Yeah, you came up with the idea of a sentient murdering AI bot. Okay, yeah, that just dropped in your lap. Right, okay. That's fine. I doubt it, but okay. I mean, that's why it's ironic that with the whoever buys Warner Brothers, either Paramount or Netflix, it's just going to be another tech company. You know, entertainment, the film studio, they will just be a line item for tech companies. It'll be Apple, Amazon, either Paramount or Netflix, and then probably be both of them. It'll be Paramount. Those would be the 4 big studios. And the reason I say Paramount is because Paramount is owned by Oracle and the Ellisons. So they're called Paramount, but it's essentially Oracle that's running that company. And so you have Apple, where they have their studio, but they just kind of mess around with films. You know, they'll make a film here and there, and they have a little studio. Amazon has MGM, and they have their studio and their things. Everything's designed to pull you back to Prime, so you can, you know, that's why Amazon bought MGM. So when you stream, I don't know if you've streamed a movie on Prime, folks, if you have it, but throughout the film, it's like, oh, did you see that 6-pack of Pepsi? Would you like to add that to your cart? If you watch that, it's all an advertisement for Prime. Netflix obviously just wants subscribers to continue to sit in their house, plop their house, and consume. And then Paramount, you know, Paramount's kind of trying to keep the theater model alive, but the theater model is going to be dead in 5 years. You know, there'll be select theaters in major cities, maybe 2 or 3. The idea of going to a theater will be for some kind of big event, but most people will get their entertainment as they're doing now at home.
You saw what they're doing. They're doing all kinds of things like play pickleball in the theater or bowling in the theater.
Oh yeah, anything. Yeah. Yeah, just to get people in. They started doing that, you know, 10 years ago with the theater restaurants where you could get dinner at the theater, where you could get dinner in a movie, which my wife and I, you know, we used to love that when we were first married. We would go to a film every Friday night. Place called the Movie Tavern in Keller, Texas. They had a nice bar and they had a nice kitchen, and we would just go see a movie and have dinner there. And it was actually a lot of fun to do that. So, G Money, there is no local news stations. I mean, they're all owned by some kind of syndicate. So my response to you is that they are out of business, because there aren't local ones now.
They kind of proved that during Rona.
Yeah. And no, I don't think they'll ever stop broadcasting over the air, because it's a powerful tool to indoctrinate the population.
Yeah, because especially when you see, I mean, they'll report local news, but then when they start talking about the same thing every other channel does, you know, they're all underneath some umbrella that you have to report on what's going on in DC, when you should never even bring that up. But yeah, you bring that's what happened during Rona days.
Yep.
They got caught saying the whole, you know, this is detrimental to our democracy.
Yep.
That was right there, the proofs that they were owned by someone else, all of them.
Yeah, it's the same thing with radio. Just like with radio has been scooped up by, I mean, radio doesn't even exist anymore. It's just two or three Salem, iHeart, and a couple others that just syndicate one show over the airways. So it's not, there is no more, and it's going to happen to YouTube. YouTube used to be for 10 years, a source where people could get independent news and stuff like that. Steve and I talked about in this show, within 3 or 4 years, this is going to be gone. This show will be on Rumble, and that's it. Because YouTube won't allow this show to be on their platform anymore. Facebook won't allow the show to be on their platform anymore. X might, just because, but because Elon, with his dedication to free speech or whatever, which is ridiculous, because my account is so throttled, it might as well be in a horror movie. But it's just like Jason's just choking my feed. But no, it's none of this stuff. There's very few outlets left where information is not censored beyond belief, or dictated, or has a script or an agenda, or any of those kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has a bias, and everyone's got an agenda. But
that's human nature.
Yeah, it's the ones that are paid that can't think for themselves and just parrot the 3x5 card.
Yeah,
and never even entertain another idea. That's the ones you got to worry about.
Yeah, like a good example is the last couple of days they removed the Robert E. Lee statue from the rotunda in DC, and they replaced it with some 16-year-old girl that was helping with school integration or whatever. And the line and the talking points went out about, oh, look, they got rid of Robert E. Lee. He's such a loser, and he was a traitor, and blah blah blah. You have people from the Federalist, and the Federalist is not a pro-Confederacy website, but even the Federalists were like, Robert E. Lee was one of the greatest Americans to ever live. He was one of the great statesmen. Eisenhower, even FDR, communist FDR, loved Robert E. Lee. But the talking points went out like, this guy's a loser, and he was a blah blah blah, and this, that, and the other thing. And of course it's all like these accounts from India and all these other kinds of places that are saying like, oh, he's such a loser, look at him go away, bye-bye. And it's like, dude, you don't even live here, right? You don't even know anything about this man and what he did and how much respect he commanded from both sides. It's just that idea, like you said, Steve, the agenda has to go out that we need to erase Robert E. Lee because he wasn't this great statesman and this honorable man that resigned from the Union to defend his state. He was a guy who defended slavery. It's like, no, Robert E. Lee was not doing this for slavery. Robert E. Lee did it for the honor of his country of Virginia. And we are so far away from people who actually have an understanding of what honor is and what duty means, and to sacrifice yourself to have a code to be proud of, as Steve and I talk, being proud of the place you're from, or being proud from South Carolina, being proud from Texas, being proud from Montana. Instead, we're all just USA, USA. And part of the USA, USA chant is that Robert E. Lee is a loser and he deserved everything he got. It's like, no, Robert E. Lee had the Union this close to trembling. If Gettysburg had gone, 1 or 2 battles in Gettysburg goes a different way, the entire story of the Civil War is different.
Yeah, follow the money, guys. No one talks about the tariffs. If the Lincoln tariffs, by the way, appreciate Jeff.
Thank you,
it's not just liberals are also GOPers. It's the same team. Yeah. GOPers are doing the same thing. They're not. They might speak a good game, but they ain't doing it. If the South would have left, there's rumors that might have come back in years later, but they would have no tariff, and the tariff that they imposed, they wouldn't have had. So people would have gone down to Charleston, New Orleans, Savannah, done to bring their goods in with no tariff, and that would have lost the Union a ton of money. Ton of money. But you have to bring up the slavery thing, and then even in New York during that time, they ended up lynching black people because they thought that it was because of you guys that they're doing this. And it was all about the money. It's just the excuse.
Brown University, which we'll talk about in a second, was was integral to the slave trade in Rhode Island. Nobody wants to talk about it, but they were. The Brown family.
There was a certain flag that flew over the slave ships, and I want the Virginia flag.
Yeah. So it's very, to make that point. But speaking of Brown University and the Bondi Beach attack that took place this weekend, you had two examples again, folks, of where, the government, speaking of liberal agendas and pushing things that happened, you have the father, out of the two gunmen, the father was a permanent resident and the son was a native Australian. But you have a clash of different ideologies. You have Western values versus Muslim values or Islam values. And, despite the fact that Australians brag about gun control, 16 people died and 59 people were injured, to the point, Steve, that I was just fun arguing with these people, but Australians were like, our gun control worked because imagine if he had an AR-15 with a drum. And I'm replying, 16 people are dead. How is that success? Because every time a gun grabber would come to us in the last 10 years, Steve, they would always open it with, if you could just save one life, would you give up your guns? If giving up your guns meant saving one more life, why wouldn't you do it? Now 16 people are dead. It's like, well, if you don't want 17 people to die, you should give up your guns. Like, no. You can't move the goalpost to being like, well, at least 30 people didn't. I thought one life lost. I'm a gun guy. I'm terrified and I'm heartfelt that 16 people died needlessly. Gun grabbers are like, yeah, but it could have been worse. Like, no, that's not how this works. And so forth. So you have that. And by the way, the Brown University student was just cornered in Salem, New Hampshire. I'm watching this real time. And apparently he self-deleted when he was put into a corner. And right now, early reports are that he's a legal permanent resident, that he is not a actual citizen of this union. And by the way, this is just, you want to know why I left Rhode Island, ladies and gentlemen? The last couple days will show you. People are like, I can't believe the Providence Police and Brown, folks, this is a daily occurrence in the state of Rhode Island. This is just how it's run. It is run by the biggest bunch of morons. You think your state government's bad? Just look at Rhode Island. Rhode Island is the worst run state in the union, worse than California, worse than everybody else. And just the incompetence on display the last week demonstrates that. They were like, oh, well, the reason we don't have cameras here is because it was an old part of the building. We didn't have it. And then they showed a picture. Fox News got a picture. It was like, there's 4 cameras in the classroom where this took place. But yet they didn't release any of the video footage. There were rumors, Steve, that the reason why some of the cameras weren't on is because the liberal students requested the cameras be turned off. So when they were protesting, they wouldn't be on film. And Brown was like, oh, yeah, okay, we'll do that. We'll turn them off. And, oh, hey, well, then this happened. Oh, my goodness, this is terrible. I can't believe this happened. And so, oh, yeah, by the way, the flock cameras too. The flock cameras you get access to them, but they didn't do anything either. And so it's just
I can't listen to anything without going false flag right off the bat. Both of them, I go false flag, because a week beforehand there was warnings coming out saying there's going to be a terrorist attack in United Kingdom or some Muslims going to Iranians were going to do XYZ, and then the first thing they blamed in Australia, Iran. And the one that threw the wrench in was a Muslim guy that took down the Muslim guy.
I thought he was a Lebanese Christian.
What?
I thought he was a Lebanese or a Maronite Christian.
In Australia?
Yeah.
All I saw on alternative was it was a Muslim guy, Ahmad El Mamad or something like that.
Yeah.
The guy with two names, the same name twice. When you convert, what do you want to be? I want to be the same name 17 times.
Yeah.
So
it's just easy to remember when you write it.
Yes, much easier. So again, this, because the first thing immediately they came out with was Iran. They were trying to pull that Iran card, and again, you can still have false flags and have dead people.
Oh
So
yeah,
there's
absolutely.
never let a crisis go to waste. And the Brown thing I don't know much about. The only thing I saw was Cross-Eyed Patel and his girlfriend was on a couple talk shows,
Yeah,
and the clip about the FBI shuffling through the snow and people like this, there. This is a serious organization right here.
yeah, they
I
were
don't know
kicking
what
the
they were.
snow around. Yeah, yep. That was
Yeah.
that once again. That is just encompassment of how encompasses how Rhode Island and it works. Even in the feds in Rhode Island are stupid. That's how all of them are. But the thing is, U.S. Marshals were around the Brown campus the day before the shooting. So that's what students are writing about, right? They were like, "Hey, well, U.S. Marshals were there," and then the day after.
One thing I didn't, I thought this, I didn't do anything on the show or anything, but I thought that exact same thing that Mark just said. And you brought up the flock cameras, and I saw a video of a flock camera capturing the guy and going, wait a minute, they say that the guy's on a run, but they got flock cameras every 5 feet.
He was wearing a mask.
But they can do gait. They can do all that. I mean, they can do all that stuff. They can do, if you look into all that stuff on there, they can do everything down to gait, height, weight, all that stuff, and be able to mix and match and see it, all that. So they should have been able to find out a lot more quicker. Because the mask thing, I get the mask thing, but because you remember, rewind that about the J6 bombing thing, and they narrowed it down to the gate of somebody that worked for the CIA. And then the next week, oh, no, somebody in Georgia, whatever it was. I can't remember who they blamed it on. What you got? Let me turn that off.
So Lauren Conlin, she's actually a pretty decent beat reporter. Claudio Naves Valentin, 48, a Portuguese national who is a former Brown student. This is the guy that self-deleted in a storage bin up in Salem, New Hampshire. So that's the supposed guy. Now, of course, everybody's like, we need more gun control laws. First of all, the guy's not a citizen, so he shouldn't have been able to buy a firearm. Secondly, Rhode Island is an A- state according to the Gifford Institute, which is Gabby Gifford's gun control institute. Steve, they have every single gun control law you could dream about in that state. Brown is a gun-free campus. And so they'll still try to say, oh, we need to pass these common sense gun laws. And it's like, nah, people, all you're doing, honestly, I said this last night on the Council of St. Michael. If you're a parent and you have any kind of, if your kids are in any of these colleges right now, I would be like, you're not going back to college after spring, after the break. I'll enroll you on an online school, but you're not going near any of these places because it's not a safe place for you right now. It's not a place that you should be. Now, of course, I'm an extremist in that way, but if you really, I would not let my kid go back to a college campus after what's been going on.
Dude, I said that was I was coaching a 14, 15-year-old baseball team one time, and the guys go, hey coach, there's the last game. You got any good advice for us? I said, yeah, don't go to college. This is 20 years ago, and they're like, what? My mama will kill you for saying that. I go, yeah, but she'll love me 5 years afterwards for you not being an idiot and saving her 50, 80 grand for you being an idiot just to go to somewhere to do whatever.
Yeah. So you go support your local college football team, right? So you can, have an excuse to go run around and be debaucherous for 4 years on the government dime and then complain about your degree when you leave.
Yeah. No, I'm an upper big proponent of no organized schooling ever. Is run by the state. Yeah. Don't do it. Right off the bat.
Yeah. That would be probably the smartest thing you could do in that regard. But yeah,
there's so much stuff you can self-teach yourself all over if you just have the will to do it. You can history from languages to anything like that. You can do it on your own, much better, cheaper, and get a job right out there without any doubt, depth, and be ahead of the game instead of behind the 8 ball for 20, 30 years. Now, unless you're going for a doctor or a lawyer, I get it. It's kind of hard to do that, but
yeah. Well, there was that one guy in Catch Me If You Can, Leonardo DiCaprio. He did it all, but I don't think
Mike Ross from Suits, he pulled it off, but he had memory and
he was able to do it. I don't know how much nowadays, but yeah, that's That's the latest
Yeah, I
on.
didn't candlesticks. I didn't see the speech. I didn't get the. I did a show late just because I wanted to see. Because I was late too, but I wanted to see if Trump was going to declare war on Venezuela, and that came out to be a nothing burger apparently. But I didn't see a clip. So what was the? I don't know what the murders were about. But remember, Trump actually just throws numbers around too.
Yeah, they all do.
Yeah.
The news, all politicians, they cherry pick one statistic, and then another example of that candlestick is the gun grabbers will say we've had 400 mass shootings this year. Can you believe that? And you go, oh, you're using Gun Violence Archive. Gun Violence Archive does not use the definition of a mass shooter, a mass shooting event, which has to be 2 or more people injured in just the mass shooting. It cannot be a part of another crime. And it can't include the shooter himself. Gun Violence Archive, if you are driving by the school and your gun goes off in your car, they're like, oh, that's a school shooting.
Yeah.
So they count everything. So when they can throw out, oh, there's been 600 school shootings, but if you even use the Congressional Research Office's version, there's like 10. So it's one of those issues that are, damn lies and statistics.
I did we went to a school where high school where people were pretty much had a gun rack in the back of the.
Yeah, I actually brought that up last night. The reason why the Austin clock tower at the University of Texas, that one way back in the day, the reason why it wasn't worse is because the good old boys actually got their rifles out of the back of their trucks and laid down suppressor fire on the guy. Yeah. They just shot at the top of the tower. They weren't going to hit him, but they just shot at the tower to keep the guy down. It was the good old boys with their rifles in the back that did it. So it's just what it is in that regard. But yeah. That's really it on all the fronts that we wanted to talk about tonight. So I guess it's time for Saying of the Week and Cry Room.
Cry Room for me, I guess it's going to be no shock to most people, is I'll keep it local.
Yeah.
His Excellency just got out of surgery, and apparently the first thing he wanted to do was put out his thing about going after altar rails and make sure he bans intinction too. You can't do intinction, as he even says. Even the germ allows it. So wait a minute, we're okay that we got to be a puritanical germ on the standing as the normative. Can't use altar rails, even though we've used it for thousands of years. And make sure those old people have nothing to be able to help them out, because we're all charity and all that. But you can't use intinction, even though the germ allows it. You can't. No, that's forbidden. There's so much just badness in this link. Can't tell anybody that there's a better position or one is better than the other. Oh, sure, okay. So if you're running a race and you're about to do a sprint, 100-yard dash, and somebody says you want to stand up or you want to get on all fours, you're ready to get in the slot position. Oh, no, just neither, everything works the same. Either one is just as good. Yeah, you wouldn't say that about track and field.
Yeah,
really? There's not a better position, either sitting down, standing up, or ready to roll. It's okay. No. Standing up is just as good as being on all fours, ready to sprint like a cheetah. Yeah. Like I said, you wouldn't do that in sports, but apparently for our Lord, there's no real right position. Now I get it. In the Eastern rites, it's standing to receive, but it's also because standing is the form of prayer, and it's not standing like a slouch. It's standing at attention.
Yeah.
And even though if you go up to receive, you can't stand at attention. If the priest is lower than you, got to get down a little bit. So you're kind of kneeling in a sense, because I have to do it when I go to a divine liturgy. I have to get down a little bit. But
but the thing is, that's been established for centuries.
Yeah, that's just the right of their,
you know. And yeah, so, I went to one and it's beautiful. If you ever have a chance to go to one of those Orthodox rites, they're just a thing of beauty, man. I love them. They're fantastic. Anyway.
Yeah, no, that's but yeah, it's a little, I don't know why some of these guys are doing. I had no idea. Maybe the altar rail called him a name back in the day.
Yeah, he tripped over one when he was in seminary.
And it's just one of those things that he's trying to get back at the rail. I don't know. It's all the things going on right now, and the Yalta rail is the one thing that you get upset about. Yeah, I got nothing. But my saying of the week, I'll go with the Father Willie Doyle Association. They're always promoting Father Doyle all the time, and they never get a lot of press, so I'll just give them a little. I've had the guy from Father Willie Doyle for a while on the channel and post his stuff and promote the books, read his books that are on Father Doyle. Fantastic story about him. More people need to read about him. Look it up for Christmas, maybe get a couple books. But yeah, I'll give the Irish a little hat tip for that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. As a person of Irish descent, I will say thank you to that. Cry room's easy. It's the entire state of Rhode Island, from the governor down to the police chief. A bunch of nincompoops, bunch of boobs, bunch of morons, and they just put it on display once again to show that Rhode Island, at this point, I love my home state, but it should just be they should just absorb it into Massachusetts, because it has no personality outside of Massachusetts light. Oh, and Taylor Swift's getting married there. Outside of that, nobody cares about that stupid state. I love it, and it's my home state. I'll always have feelings towards it, but anybody else who thinks it's worthless, I get it. I have two saints of the week this week, one funny and one sad. I'll go with the funny one first. Philip Rivers, way to go, bud. Coming back at what, 40 whatever years old.
45, so almost got the W.
At 45, just so his wife and 15 kids and 37 grandkids can all get back on the NFL health pay. Good for him. A sly dog. Nobody else is thinking of this, but it also shows how bad quarterback play is in the NFL now, that Philip Rivers can literally run off of coaching in a high school football team and almost get a win for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, it was like 16 for 18 with a touchdown and a pick, and he ain't played ball in 8 years.
And he's literally a grandpa. He's a grandpa, and he's tossing touchdowns in the NFL.
It wasn't like he was working out,
no,
training or anything like that.
He's like, I can do it. Steve's like, you know what? I can do it too.
No, I can't. I can barely move. I mean, I know I saw him run a couple of times. It was just typical that he was just not going to run fast.
To be fair,
I actually thought that too when I saw that going. I can't imagine doing that right now. I wouldn't be able to move afterwards.
I twisted my ankle watching him do it.
Well, I could put some one or two cuts right off the bat and get away, and just because you can outsmart the young pups. But the day after, I wouldn't be able to move.
Dude, the first time one of those guys hit me, I would just be like, I'm dead.
just because it's in the news, I'd say you'd have to douse me with hemp oil just to keep my muscles okay.
I'd have to get a sponsor on the actual jersey. I'm taking hemp oil in between each snap just to keep going. But good, faithful Catholic, Philip Rivers, awesome to see. Good for you, bud. Second one is much sadder. It happened this morning. Greg Biffle, NASCAR driver, driver of the number 16 car for Roush Racing back in the 2000s. His plane crashed. He took off from a small airport in the Carolinas. Something happened immediately after takeoff. They tried to turn around, and he crashed. Him, his wife, his two beautiful children, all of them died. First of all, it's terrible because I enjoyed him. I watched him in the early 2000s. He was part of the Roushketeers. I'm a big Roush Fenway guy. I like those guys. Secondly, the Carolina people, he was instrumental in helping out Western Carolina. And he was the guy that was flying his helicopter into places that nobody else would go to help bring supplies to the people of Western Carolina. And so really a good man from all accounts. Everybody in the garage, there's not one bad thing anybody's ever said about the guy. Always took time to talk to fans, and he understood that he was, he got to do something that most people dreamed of, and he seemed to be an all-around good dude. And it's just awful, especially since his whole family was involved in it. And it's a sad thing to hear. So, I don't know if he was
Statesville. It was in Statesville.
Yeah. Yep.
That's not too far from here. Here's the map right here.
Yeah. So it was one of those small airports that he was a pilot, and it's just awful. So remember him, folks, in your rosary tomorrow if you all can. Just remember him and his wife and his 2 beautiful children. Just pray for the dead, even though we don't know if he's Catholic or not. He was a good dude, and he'll be good people like him will be sorely missed.
We have a sponsor, Icy Hot. Icy Hot is a sponsor.
Forget Icy Hot. I want the hemp oil. All right, folks. That's it for this episode of News from the Pew. Please like, subscribe, share the News from the Pew. Helps the show grow. We will talk to you all later. God bless. Luce says, bye, everybody. Thank you for hanging out on News from the Pew.
Still get it wrapped up.
I know. The value stays up if you keep him in the wrapper. So shush. Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody. We're not